Pete Carroll said that he did have a call with another NFL team who seemed to be genuinely interested in giving Colin Kaepernick a chance. Now, there are some players that want the NFL to assign a team. Colin Kaepernick, that's idiotic. If he can play and some team is willing to bring him in and he's willing to accept the contract offer, I mean, there's so many things. It's just like it's not just a black and white situation. I don't mean black and white in terms of race. I'm talking about black and white in terms of getting all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Cut and dried. How about cut and dried? Right. Yeah. So, what is he worth? Does he understand he's a backup quarterback? What is the quarterback situation for said team? What does the head coach look like? Is he a head coach that's a new head coach? Is he a head coach that's been around a while? Is he Mike Tomlin? Is he a black head coach? Is he John Harbaugh, a white head coach? Do they have a white quarterback? Do they have a black quarterback? What does it do to the dynamic of the team? There's a million freaking questions that have to be answered. And, between ownership and ticket sales and coaches and players and reaction and distraction, and is he committed? Does he want this kind of money? I mean, I don't know how to answer all those questions.
Well, this is what's interesting about this story to me was, why do you think that another coach was calling Pete Carroll? Why did that other coach have to call Pete Carroll?
Is it because of Pete Carroll's comments and everything, and
No.
because Pete Carroll already had Colin Kaepernick in there? And
that's the point is that we still don't know these answers from Colin and his representatives themselves. So they had to call Pete Carroll to find out, hey, when you were investigating signing Colin Kaepernick, we need these answers. Did it seem like he was going to settle for a backup role? Did it seem like he was going to get paid backup money? Did it seem like, these are the things that they needed to know because they weren't getting that information just like we aren't getting that information from him. I hope he ends up on a team this year. I really do. But these questions are still being asked, which is mind-blowing to me. Like Cam Newton, I know for a fact Cam Newton, when given an opportunity now, even if it's not going to be a starter, will take that opportunity because most of them are gone now, and nobody knows where Cam Newton is going to play. I still don't know that about Colin Kaepernick, and if he ends up on a team, that is great, and that's going to make a lot of NFL players happy. It's going to make a lot of people happy. But I think the reason why this call was made to Pete Carroll is because they needed information that isn't readily available on Colin Kaepernick because nobody knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it.
Yeah, well, my former coach basically says he regrets not signing him. I don't know why he didn't sign him. I don't know what the reason behind all of that was. But, that's what he's saying to, in the last week or so, that he regrets not signing him as a backup quarterback. But, again, I look around and I try to figure out what is the best team, what is the best situation, what fan base, may be accepting of Colin in terms of season ticket holders and things like that. No blowback towards the ownership and things of that nature. This is what Richard Sherman's leading to. You got to ask the NFL owners why Colin Kaepernick, hasn't been signed. And, and again, I can figure out some of the answers. I mean, realistically, there's going to be a very large portion of their season ticket holders that don't want Colin Kaepernick on the team. We all know that. We all understand that. But maybe today it's a little bit different than it was, 2 years ago. But number two, I also think because of Colin's martyr-like image in the eyes of today's players, wherever he goes, he has to go, I believe, where there is a very strong head coach, and I've said this before, and a very strong, entrenched quarterback that is not going to be feeling any sort of pressure from the backup. You know what I mean? Like in certain situations, you want that pressure. So, in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky, you want the pressure. That's why they went out and they got Nick Foles. They know Nick Foles. They know who he is. He's a Super Bowl MVP, even though he didn't play well in Jacksonville and was hurt down there. They want Nick Foles there because they want to push Mitch Trubisky to try to be a better player and to teach him how to be a pro and how to learn the offense and how to play within the offense. This is not that case. There is not, when I'm looking around the NFL, I don't see that as being the case of let's bring in Colin Kaepernick so we can push our starting quarterback to get better, especially if that starting quarterback is somebody like a Gardner Minshew. I'd say because I keep reading Jacksonville for both either Colin Kaepernick or Cam Newton. If you put one of those two players on that roster, the starting quarterback Gardner Minshew is basically done. He's done. It's his second year and he's done. He's not going to be. I don't believe, even though we met him and we liked him, I don't believe that that's a good situation.
Well,
for the team
he could
and
still
for the coach or anybody else.
Right, but he still is going to have an opportunity to perform. He does not let's not just assume he's going to crumble under pressure, right?
But the moment he has two bad games, throws a bad interception in the fourth quarter, it's the mental side of the game, And I remember, Phil Simms often said this to me about Bill Parcells and his comments.
Screw Phil Simms.
Is if you don't throw 3 picks today, you're not trying. In other words, trying to alleviate some of the anxiety and pressure of a game before you go into the game. You say that to your quarterback, you get a laugh out of it, and that means he wants you to be aggressive today, and you're getting the okay from the coach. That's not going to be the case with Gardner Minshew. I'm just telling you. That's why I keep looking at teams. There's really 2 teams to me where you could say this makes some sense because of who the coaches are and because who their particular quarterbacks are. The quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens and Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. Both entrenched as starters, both young, both are going to sign big contracts. Both will not feel any sort of pressure from Colin. As a matter of fact, I would think that they would welcome Colin in their quarterback room. I bet you they look up to Colin. I bet you they believe in whatever Colin his message has been. So I think those 2 teams with those 2 quarterbacks, and because they have Bill O'Brien and because they have John Harbaugh, are 2 coaches who are totally and in firmly control of their football teams.
Is there a chance that Colin Kaepernick says, listen, you guys didn't want me a couple of years ago. And I thought that was an atrocity, that I was being blackballed by the league, and now you want me? And then now it's in my terms. It's on my terms.
But
now, I don't want to come
back.
Are
very, very. I know that.
I'm just saying what he would say. All right,
I know.
But
it's
just
not what
to
you
answer
believe.
Right. It's not, I'm just saying, is there a chance that he says that? That he comes back and says, "Wait, after all this, now you're coming to me? Please, I don't need you guys. I've built up my situation. I've got a voice. I don't, the ship has sailed. I don't know if there's a chance of that. It would be interesting, though. It would be interesting if that were his tact. I don't know if he's going to sprint back to the NFL now. I'm not sure.
Well, all these players seem to think that that's what he wants, and everybody who is talking for him is telling all of us that he wants to come back and play. In the NFL, I think the NFL office, the commissioner's office, by setting up that workout at the Atlanta Falcons facility last year, was basically telling everybody in the NFL, it's okay if you want to sign Colin Kaepernick. We'll deal with whatever blowback there is, we'll deal with it, and it's going to be short-lived. It's no big deal. If he wants to play, we'll give him an audience. We'll give him an opportunity that they have never given anybody before in the history of the league. And, they paid the grievance, they came to an agreement on the grievance, whatever the grievance was. I have no idea. I cannot get a number from anybody, and I don't want to speculate on that number, and I certainly don't want to regurgitate somebody else's speculation as to how much Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed ended up getting from the NFL. But the point is that the NFL tried to give him an opportunity to show what he has and the fact that he could play. And I think physically when you see him, you say, well, there's a guy that's in great shape.
Sure.
The question is he committed to the game of football, or is it better for him and what he is trying to accomplish to remain where he is and just not say anything and only, and go to places where he can get his message out without really being challenged?
Yeah, here's another thing that just popped in my head on why another NFL coach would call Pete Carroll to ask questions about Colin Kaepernick. Because what if you're a team that has interest in Colin Kaepernick? Then you engage in talks with his agent and in Colin, and you bring him in. But then you decide for football reasons that Colin's not ready. He's not a fit for the team. Maybe he's rustier than you thought, or whatever the reason may be. I don't know. And then you decide not to sign him. What do you think the reaction is going to be there once it hits the presses that this team was interested in signing him and then did not? So I also think that this could have been a fact-finding mission by another NFL head coach before they engaged with the Colin Kaepernick agent in camp to make sure that if they are going to engage, they're very serious about signing him, because I don't even know if you can have interest, have that reported at this point, and then say, no, we don't want to sign him without major blowback. That could be another part of this from a PR standpoint.
And what happens if you do sign him, and then when you get him on the practice field and everything, you're not really sure you're liking what you're seeing from a physical standpoint? You know, maybe he doesn't fit your offense. That's why the Ravens make so much sense, because Greg Roman was his offensive coordinator in San Francisco, and that's the offense coordinator and actually the offensive coordinator or offensive coach of the year last year in the NFL, and he is with the Ravens, and they're running pretty much the same type of offense because of the skill set of the two quarterbacks. And you have the reigning MVP, so I don't know. To me, it still makes a lot more sense to go there. But something happened there, too, and that was the whole Ray Lewis thing.
Yeah.
Something didn't go down right there either. And
that might be that might be something that's a non-starter because of what went down with Ray Lewis and Steve Bisciotti and Colin.
But Ray Lewis was trying to get him there. Ray Lewis was.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. I don't know. It was very strange. But then I remember there was those tweets from Colin's girlfriend to Bisciotti, and the thing got messy really quick, and it seemed like it ended any hopes of him being a Baltimore Raven. I don't know if that was, water under the bridge at this point or something that would be brought back up again.